It almost seems unreal that we have been in Peru now for 4 months. It feels like a lifetime of events have taken place since we put boots on the ground here in January 2023. We have some great stories to share with you. We have been meeting with the pastors and leaders in Cochiquinas and some of the surrounding villages. However, because we had to use our phones to translate, the training sessions were long and there were things that got lost in translation. So we knew we needed an interpreter for the trainings. We talked about it and said, well, let's just start praying and see what God does. Who knows, there could be someone right next door and we don't even know it. So we started to pray and ask around to see if anyone knew of someone from any of the surrounding villages who could translate for us just a few hours a week. Some of the leaders from a nearby village, San Antonio, mentioned that there was an English teacher in Cochiquinas who may be available. They were able to set up a time for us to meet her, and when we met with her, we asked her where she lived, and she said, right there. And she pointed to the house next door. There has been an English-speaking person living next door to us the whole time, and she was happy to interpret for our discipleship trainings. The first time we had the opportunity to utilize her skills, there was such a heavy rainstorm that several of the leaders were not able to make it to the training from other villages. However, we continued the training with just a few people, and it seemed to be much smoother and time efficient with the translator. She told us afterwards that she was so happy that she was able to help and she learned so much. This opens the door for spreading the gospel, as she does not currently attend church, and she said she learned so much in just a short time during that training. We're confident that even though her government teaching contract might be short, God has her in Cochiquinas for such a time as this. We have begun using the church building that we bought a couple years ago for a biblical training center, and we are consistently visiting churches in various surrounding villages on Sundays so that we can get to know them and invite them to the pastoral leadership trainings in Cochiquinas 3 times a month. A few weeks ago, we visited the village of San Antonio, where some of you might remember the story of Madeleine, Pastor Moises' wife, who had full-term miscarriage. It was good to see her in good health, and we are thankful that she was joyfully worshiping at church again. As most of you know, one of our greatest needs here is a safe boat to travel up and down the Amazon River. With the help of some of our faithful donors, we were able to obtain funds to purchase a perfect mission boat that will safely transport us and short-term teams up and down the river. We purchased this boat from another missionary here in Iquitos, and we made the necessary adjustments to it to get as far as we would be going up the river. Long story short, the Peruvian customs in Lima had been holding up the motors, and we had to make a decision that would put us in this boat so that we don't have to take public ferries anymore, which has proved to be time-consuming, painful at times, and even quite dangerous. Well, during the waiting process, God provided a second boat. We have known that we would eventually need a smaller boat to get up and down the small tributaries in the deep jungle, and while we waited for the main boat to be completed, we have the perfect smaller boat that is just big enough to get us to Cochiquinas and around the tributaries. God is so good. A couple weeks ago, we came back to Iquitos to pick up that second boat, as it was ready to go. While in Iquitos, we got a call that Pastor Julio was very sick, and we were able to immediately use this boat for the first time to make an emergency trip straight back to Cochiquinas. It turned out that it wasn't just Pastor Julio, but a large part of the entire village of Cochiquinas was very sick with what seems to be some sort of parasite. Although the Amazon rainforest yields up to 118 inches of rainfall per year, the people still use the Amazon River water as their primary source of drinking, cooking, and bathing. We are so grateful that in prepping for jungle missions, God has prepared us with and has put us in contact with various options to bring clean drinking water to the Amazon jungle. You might remember our goal of reaching 200 villages in 5 years with clean drinking water and the gospel. Well, now this goal seems obtainable, and our efforts are beginning as we will start with the primary school of Cochiquinas first. Word is that many of the kids are oftentimes sick and miss school from dysentery, stomach illnesses, and parasites because of the water source at the school. Please be praying that the Lord gives us wisdom and favor as we begin the process of not only purifying the water, but bringing them the water of life, Jesus Christ. As always, we just want you to all know how thankful and grateful we are for all of you, for your prayers, your support, your encouragement. We couldn't do this without you guys, and we're just so thankful. We love you guys, and we'll talk to you next time.